Do you know the correct way to fold a Japanese kimono? You may be doing it wrong and you may be doing yourself a disservice. There is a specific way that you fold Japanese kimono and yukata alike that keeps them from creasing. It also keeps the garment safe and is better for storage. I'm going to take you through how to fold your kimono and yukata. Come and have a look. We'll head down to the floor in just a minute to show you how the kimono is folded. But first, I want to talk about why it's so simple and how it's kind of exciting when you get into it to see just how it works. It's really cool. Kimono in Japan are hand sewn. Nearly all of them are. Some modern ones are machine done, especially yukata, but most are sewn by hand and they're made of silk. And they have special properties because of that that makes them really easy to fold. You can see here actually all the way along. There you go. See those white dots? That's hand sewing there. What that is keeping the seams flat. But this all helps with the way that the kimono is folded and then stored. You can see here, I've got some hand sewing along there. You need a big space to do this. The floor, if it's clean, is a great spot, or put down a sheet. Another good place is a king or queen size bed. They're fantastic for doing this on top of the bed as well. And you don't have to get down on your knees to do it. Let's head down to the floor and fold our kimono. So get your kimono, lay it out on the floor like so, and sit to one side of it. So I've got the front opening down here, that's the hem going that way, and the shoulders are up this side. The closest side to you, the further side from me, we don't need to worry about that just yet. We're focusing on this side at the moment. So I lay it down and I get it nice and flat, like this. But only on this side. The other side I'm just leaving for the minute, like that. So you should see your center back seam nice and straight. You've got a side seam down here, and this is the front of the kimono and the okumi, or the front overlap. That's this extra part here, literally the part that overlaps at the front. And then you've got the collar coming down here and a sleeve sat flat on this side. So I'm getting the tip of the collar, that little corner, and this front edge of the front opening of the kimono, or the okumi. And I'm pulling that across so it snaps on the side seam down along here. I'm going to do it again. Now, I talked about hand sewing. This is where it really comes into play. Because it's hand sewn, it means the seams haven't been mashed together by a machine and sort of forced together into one entity. Hand sewing means that you almost suggest two pieces of fabric should come together. And they don't, but it creates a hinge rather than one piece of fabric. So because of this hinging, the fabric is going to snap into place. So if you hold the edge of your kimono up and just sort of drop it, this edge here, the side seam, will fall into place quite nicely. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's really cool to have to see it happen as well. So I've got that side seam there, and now I just flatten out this part. I've got the okumi and I get the collar and I straighten out that. So one side of the kimono looks like a diagram of kimono. Do you see that? I've got the collar running up there, I've got the sleeve coming out and it's nice and flat. And then I've got the front of the kimono running all the way down to the hem. Now I get that tip of the collar again, the same piece, and the front opening, and I pull that back. And again, this is going to snap because you've got a seam along here at the okumi that is trained to snap back. And then I just pull the collar back as well, and it all falls into place and guides itself so it falls nicely. Do you see here we've got, now it's like the diagram, but we've opened just the front opening to show the inside of the collar. This is the part where we now grab the other side. So again, this part didn't need to be neat. It's fine sitting the way it is. But we grab the same area. So you're getting that tip of the collar and the front opening, that front okumi. And what you do is you draw it across and just place it on its counterpart. So exactly line it up. This is a great place to line it up, at this little junction where the front opening of the kimono meets the bottom of the collar, and you pull the collar flat like that so it sits on top of itself. Make sure it doesn't curl at the hem and everything. Like that. Now, what you'll notice is that along here isn't a seam, that's actually a curve, just a fold in the fabric, and the side seam is running just inside it over here. What we do is we grab that side seam. So you're not getting this edge over here, you're getting the side seam that's running about an inch, maybe 2 inches inside. Just pick it up like that, like you're sort of pinching it up, and then pull that across and drop it. And what it's doing, again, is because it's trained and it's all hinged with its hand-sewn seams, is it's trained to fall so that center back seam falls exactly flat. And that's exactly what it's done. Here is a center back seam running all the way down, and it's nice and flat. So that's that part of the kimono done. That's sort of folded, and we'll fold it over in a minute. Now you focus, oh, I just moved this one. Now you focus up here on the sleeves. So your sleeve, it's still messy, and that's all fine. Grab the sleeve by the top of the cuff and the bottom of the bag, make it a little square like that, and draw that across and just sit it with its counterpart again, just match it completely. And you see everything really does start to fall into place. The only part that looks a bit messy is up here at the collar. So what you do is you get your hand along here up to your little finger, and we're gonna slice that in. So you sort of tuck the collar in using that. And that will create, you'll see there'll be the little half moon shape of the collar there, and it tucks the collar back. And so the collar is now sitting flat and has a little crease at the top. After that, we pick the 2 sleeves and we fold them across as if they're sort of hugging the top of the kimono. So they're both going like that across the top. And now you're ready to fold it up. Best thing to do is to bring your hem to the bottom of your sleeves, wherever they are. So if you have a furisode, you'll bring your hem just to sort of here. I've got a kosode here, which is a short sleeve kimono, and I'll bring it up to there. And then from there, you bring it again, another fold. If you had long sleeves, you can fold them at once. What I'm trying not to do is put a little fold just at the bottom of the sleeves here. I'd rather keep the sleeve flat and in its flat state than the rest of the kimono. So I'll fold it at that bottom of the sleeve. But if you had really long sleeves, you can fold them directly in the middle because they're so much longer. There's not going to create a crease. And so that is your folded kimono. Because of the way it's folded, it's not going to crease it because you see everything's flat. And what you do is you then put that into a tatsushi, so a washi paper envelope, and you store that in your wardrobe. The Japanese kimono is made with such uniformity across the entire range of kimonos that they can be folded in the same way and kept in the same way, no matter what kind of kimono or yukata you have. Once you get the hang of it and you know what seams need to snap where, it really becomes quite simple. It's also quite cool to watch it, like when you see those seams just snap into place because that's the way the garment's made. It all makes sense, and it's almost like magic. It's a really cool sensation, I think, just to watch a garment do exactly what you tell it. So we don't iron kimono. You just don't. You don't wash them yourself, you don't iron them yourself. Japanese kimono are only ironed when they're washed, and at that point a professional has taken the entire garment apart, washed it, ironed it, and then put it back together again. You don't iron kimono in your house. They tend to become crumpled and ruined because the seams aren't made for that. The thread in the seams is not made to be put through a hot wash, or certainly not a clothes dryer, and they're not made to be put under an iron. This is how a kimono is made. They're made by hand. If you have a vintage kimono, it's been sewn by hand. You have a garment that's been completely made by hand and most likely made completely out of silk. The fact that we're buying them for $150 in a second-hand shop is crazy, but that's the way it is. But you do not treat them like they're a t-shirt or something else in your wardrobe. They are haute couture in any respect. So you have to treat them with a lot more respect to keep them in a nice condition. When it comes time to wear your kimono and it's been in storage, you get it out about 2 or 3 days before you're going to wear it, and you put it on one of those big kimono stands that we all know. They look sort of like that, and the kimono hangs down straight, and you air the kimono, but also you let it all fall and everything falls back into place. That's how you then get ready to wear the kimono. And there will be creases in the kimono, but they're supposed to be there. So we've folded it. I'll unfold it again. It's as easy as pie doing that. You see down here, do you see this long crease here? If you have that on your kimono, people know that you're folding your kimono correctly. This should be there. That was created at the top of the garment down there when we folded it. This runs from the neck, down the shoulder, and down the sleeve to the opening. So it's from here down here. And there is one on here, but you can't actually see it because of the check and the light. But there's one down here, so it runs from your neck all the way down your shoulder and all the way down the sleeve. And it's called the katayama and sodayama, which literally translate to the shoulder mountain and the sleeve mountain, because that's what they resemble. If you have a look, think of like Mount Fuji and a nice triangular mountain. It's like a little mountain range that runs straight down from your neck down to your wrist, basically. Things like that are supposed to be there. You're supposed to have a crease along there. Don't go ironing it out or anything like that when you go to put it on. And there's usually a triangular set of creases and a sort of center back neck crease. Can you see that there? And a little triangular one. That's usually at the back neck as well. That means that you've stored it properly, you've tucked the collar back the correct way. These are all things that if you have that on your kimono when you're wearing it, you might go, oh, there's a crease, I should press that out. But no, you have to keep that. And then other people who understand and know about kimono will see that you're wearing it and you're storing it properly. This is part of owning a kimono. So if you have a kimono, do not wash it yourself. Certainly do not dry it yourself, and do not press it yourself. They are folded in a certain way that keeps them flat. You saw that the way it's sat, it keeps it flat because it's all folded. It's like putting loads of crepe paper between each layer when you're folding a cashmere sweater. It's exactly like that, because it's wrapped so tightly around and it's not crossing any seams. It keeps all the panels of the kimono nice and taut and keeps them in a nice flat state. I hope this has helped. I hope if you have a kimono, you rush to your closet and you fold it correctly right now, and share this with someone who has a kimono and might be folding it like a lot of people do. I've seen this, where they grab their kimono and you do what you would with any jacket or jumper, and you fold it in half and then, you know, roll it up like that. You can do that if you want. It's not going to make your kimono look better. This will make your kimono look better. I'm Kimono Alex. This is House of Kimono. Follow me for everything about kimono.